Have you ever imagined Bruno Mars, the man who makes the whole world scream hysterically with his voice? The man surrounded by the most beautiful models in the most exclusive clubs in Hollywood, actually on that same night standing alone in the kitchen, with hands that just held Grammy Awards now busy slicing garlic for a simple dish called chicken adobo? If you think you know Bruno Mars the stage conqueror, you are dead wrong. Because tonight, we are going to open the door to his kitchen, and what you will see inside will change your perspective on love, loss, and a superstar forever. Welcome back to this channel, my big Bruno Mars lovers family. Here we don't just talk about music, we talk about the heart. And if you are a true fan who has followed Bruno's journey since he was little Peter in Hawaii, stay here with me for the next few minutes. I will uncover a rare confession that was almost missed by the media. An honest confession from Jessica Caban, the woman who was his lover for many years, who said so sincerely, "Bruno is at home cooking more often than partying in Hollywood clubs." Why would a man who could have everything choose the aroma of a kitchen? What is the secret behind two Filipino dishes, chicken adobo and pancit, that he always cooks with tears of longing? And how did the legacy of his beloved mother, Mama Bernie, become the most secret love recipe that he never wrote in any song? We will dissect all the answers thoroughly, layer by layer, like we peel onions for the adobo itself. So make sure you watch until the very last second, because at the end of part 1 story, you will find one emotional fact that will make you cry and love Bruno Mars even more.
Let me show you how to do it.
The world knows Bruno Mars as an explosion of energy. When he steps onto the stage, the world holds its breath. His costumes glitter, his moves are perfect, his voice can split the night sky. The major media in Los Angeles and New York compete to report on his every move. They capture images of him leaving a luxurious recording studio at 2 in the morning. They write speculations about private parties attended by Hollywood A-listers. They build an image that Bruno Mars lives in a never-ending party. That is the narrative sold to us. That is the Bruno Mars the industry wants us to see. But there is a big lie behind all the glitter, a lie that was not intentional, but was created because cameras were never allowed into the place he loves most. That place is not a nightclub called 108K in West Hollywood. It is not a VIP table in Las Vegas where he is king. That place is a warm kitchen, maybe not very big, with an old wok that is blackened on some sides, with a pile of unwashed dishes, and with an aroma so strong, an aroma capable of pulling him back to the past, to a small house in Hawaii where he was still a little boy named Peter. We all know Bruno Mars is the son of Bernadette San Pedro Bayo, a beautiful and talented hula dancer and singer of Filipino descent, who was affectionately called Mama Bernie. We know his mother was the center of Bruno's universe. When Mama Bernie passed away in 2013 from a brain aneurysm, Bruno's world collapsed. He himself said in an interview with Rolling Stone, with a trembling voice, that he lost his hero. He lost his light. And since then, every song he sings, every high note he reaches, there is always the shadow of his mother in it. Many senior fans, especially mothers in the Philippines and around the world, feel that sadness so deeply, because they know how much a Filipino son loves his mother. It is a love that cannot be explained with words, a love that is sacred, an eternal love. Then how does a little boy who lost his beloved mother survive? How does he heal a wound that can never be healed by time? Some people go to the most expensive therapist in Beverly Hills. Some people drown themselves in work, recording album after album non-stop. Some people seek escape in the glitter of parties. But Peter Gene Hernandez chose a different way. The most honest way, the most human way, the way taught by his own mother. He cooks. Cooking is not just an activity for him. Cooking is a ritual. Cooking is a prayer. When he slices garlic, he remembers how his mother's gentle hands did the same thing so quickly and nimbly. When he pours vinegar and soy sauce into the pot, he remembers his mother's laughter filling their small house in Honolulu. The aroma wafting from the pot of chicken adobo that is boiling is not just the aroma of food, it is a time machine. It is the only way for him to be able to hug his mother again, even if only for a moment, even if only in memory. And this is what the Hollywood paparazzi never understood. They wait in front of nightclubs, when Bruno is already at home, with an apron that might be a little dirty, trying with all his might to reproduce the exact same taste as his mother's cooking. Because for Bruno, if he succeeds in making the taste of that chicken adobo exactly like Mama Bernie's, then for a moment, his mother is still alive. His mother is still there, with him, in that kitchen. And here is the most surprising and most touching part of this whole story, a confession that did not come from Bruno himself, because Bruno is a man who is very private about his personal life. That confession came from a woman who had seen this most secret side with her own eyes. That woman is Jessica Caban. For those of you who followed Bruno's love story, you must know Jessica Caban is a beautiful model and actress who accompanied Bruno for 5 years, from 2011 to 2016. 5 years is not a short time. 5 years is enough time to see the mask of a superstar come off and see the real human. And in a casual interview that was almost missed by many people, when asked what life is like with a world superstar like Bruno Mars, Jessica did not answer with stories about red carpets or private jets. She smiled, a smile full of nostalgia and affection, and she said in a sentence that was so simple yet so powerful. She said, "People think he's always in the club, always partying. But actually, Bruno is at home cooking more often than partying in Hollywood clubs." Imagine that sentence. Bruno is at home cooking more often. A model who is used to the glamorous Hollywood life, who could easily be invited to the most exclusive party whenever she wants, actually reveals that her super famous boyfriend is a homebody, a man who is happier spending hours in the kitchen than spending hours in a club. Why is this confession so important? Why is this simple sentence so earth-shattering for us, his international female fans, especially adults who have long loved Bruno? Because that sentence destroys all stereotypes. The music industry wants us to believe that a male pop star must be a bad boy, must be a playboy surrounded by women and alcohol. But Jessica Caban, with one sentence, tells us that Bruno Mars is the opposite. He is a loyal man, a warm man, a man who finds happiness not from the validation of thousands of strangers in a club, but from the warmth of a home and from the food he makes with his own hands. And this is not just about cooking any food. This is about what he cooks. Jessica did not say Bruno likes to make expensive steaks or 5-star restaurant-style sushi. She specifically saw Bruno cooking Filipino food. Chicken Adobo and Pancit. 2 dishes that are very simple, very homey, very down-to-earth, and very far from a luxurious Hollywood impression. Chicken adobo is the unofficial national dish of the Philippines. Chicken marinated in soy sauce, vinegar, garlic, and pepper, then slowly boiled until the spices are perfectly absorbed. Every Filipino family has its own adobo recipe, a recipe passed down from mother to child. And pancit is a long-life fried noodle that is always present at every Filipino family celebration, symbolizing long life and good fortune. This is not food for show. This is food for family. This is food for love. The fact that Bruno Mars, a global superstar with a fortune of hundreds of millions of dollars, chooses to cook chicken adobo and pancit in his spare time, tells us everything about who he really is. He never forgets his roots. He never forgets where he came from. Amidst all the pressure to be the coolest American, he remains the Filipino little boy of Mama Bernie. And Jessica Caban saw that. She saw a man who was so strong on stage, but so gentle and vulnerable in the kitchen, trying to reconnect the broken pieces of his heart through a heritage recipe. Maybe that's why Jessica loved him so much. Because what woman, especially a mature adult woman who understands the meaning of life, would not fall in love with a man who cooks with heart, who cooks with tears of longing for his mother? That is the true charm of Bruno Mars. Not the charm from his 24K magic moves, but the charm from his loyalty to the first love of his life, which is his mother. Let's go even deeper into these 2 magical dishes, because inside every ingredient, There is a life lesson, a philosophy, an edutainment that we can all learn together. Chicken adobo. If you have never tasted it, you might think it's just ordinary soy sauce chicken. But you are wrong. Adobo is about balance. It is a perfect dance between salty, sour, savory, and a little sweet. Its dark and deep soy sauce symbolizes sorrow and life's difficulties, like the difficulties experienced by Filipino immigrant families who migrated to Hawaii in search of a better life. The sour and sharp vinegar symbolizes tears, symbolizes the pain of loss, the pain felt by Bruno when his mother left. But then, there is the fragrant garlic, sautéed until golden, symbolizing the warmth of family, symbolizing laughter, symbolizing beautiful memories that can never be taken away by anyone. And all those ingredients are boiled together for a long time, over low heat, with patience. It cannot be rushed. Just like healing a broken heart, it cannot be rushed. You have to let it boil slowly, let all those flavors fuse, until finally something so deep, so rich, so complex, and so delicious is created. That is adobo. And that is the life of Bruno Mars. His life is an adobo, full of salty and sweet success, but also full of sour loss. And he cooks it every day to remind himself that all those flavors must be there to create a wholeness. Then there is pancit. If adobo is about the past and about grief, then pancit is about the future and about hope. In every Filipino family, you will never find a birthday party, a graduation party, or a Christmas party without a large plate of pancit in the middle of the table. Why? Because those long noodles are believed to bring long life. Cutting pancit noodles before eating them is even considered to bring bad luck. You have to eat them whole, long unbroken. When Bruno Mars cooks pancit, what is he actually doing? He is celebrating life. He is praying for a long life, not only for himself, but for his mother's memory. He is reweaving the threads of his life that were once broken by his mother's death. Every strand of noodle he stirs in the wok is a prayer that his mother's legacy, that his mother's love, will continue to live long, will never be broken, as long as he continues to cook it. A senior fan from Manila once wrote a very touching comment in one of Bruno's fan forums. The comment said, "I see my son in Bruno. My son also works in America, far from me. He says he always cooks my adobo in his small apartment in California when he misses home. So when I heard Bruno also does the same thing, I cried. I no longer see him as a superstar. I see him as our child, a Filipino child who misses his mother's cooking." And there lies the greatest power of this story. The story of Bruno Mars being good at cooking is not a cheap gossip story. This is a universal story. This is a story about all of us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whether you are an adult woman in Surabaya, a mother in Jakarta, or a grandmother in Medan, you must have felt the same thing. You must have tried to cook your mother's dish when you missed her. You must know that the taste of mother's cooking can never be replaced by even the most expensive restaurant. And when you hear that Bruno Mars, with all the luxury he has, also does the same thing, your heart immediately connects with him. The wall between superstar and fan collapses instantly. We no longer admire him from below the stage. We sit with him at the kitchen table, smelling the same aroma, feeling the same longing. This is what makes Bruno Mars so loved by international female fans, especially the mature ones. Because he does not offer a false fantasy about a perfect life. He offers raw honesty. He shows that behind all the Grammys and all the spotlights, he is just a little boy who loves his mother very much and who uses the simplest way to stay close to her, which is by cooking.